Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and this video is about 7 knives and why these 7 knives are so great. Starting this off, we have the TWOSUN TS129. Now, this is a knife I've had for a very long time. It's been used a lot. Now, if you want to see full reviews or stats or anything like that, you can definitely look these knives up. This is more personally about the knives. Now, this knife has, in this version, does have M390 and does have a beautiful satin finish and titanium and carbon fiber. Now, the action is really good. It's not a fall shut type of action, but it is a very smooth action, and it has a front flipper. So it's awesome having the whole deployment. I do like the whole deployment, but this blade shape and ergos, the combination is so good. Now, I brought this thing to work today, and if you look, I call this blade shape a drop foot, but you know, it's a sheep's foot style blade. But if you notice right here at the tip, how it kind of ramps up, but then the tip kind of claws back down. Now, it's not a recurve, although when I'm cutting straps at work, getting this spine up and behind a strap, it hangs onto the material. And even though this doesn't recurve, it kind of acts like a recurve. When I was cutting down cardboard today, it's like this thing hooks into the material as you're cutting. And there's just something so satisfying about a blade that doesn't pull out of its cut. It just stays nice and trapped into the cut and allows you to make long cuts. Then when I'm cut, because I had to cut out basically a pad using cardboard on a dolly, right? So I had to do basically a long utility cut. This tip just allows you to do amazing utility cuts. So the versatility of this blade shape is amazing. The geometry, slice is really good. Nice and thin behind the edge, and coupled with these ergos, it just makes a perfect combination of a great user, a great EDC knife. The benefits you get with using this knife in particular. As a fidget toy, yeah, it's fun. It's not the most fun, but when you mix the versatility in it and how useful it is, this is such an amazing knife. The clip, perfect clip. This clip is one of the best clips TWOSUN has ever done. Now, another thing, the lock bar access is very generous. It's very easy to disengage. The front flipping action works really well, and the whole deployment is very easy to get to, even if you're left-handed. It's very easy to get to because you have the clip right here to put your finger, if I don't hit myself, to put your finger to deploy it. It's just an amazing knife all the way around. Next, the Benchmade Griptilian. The Benchmade Griptilian, this is an awesome work knife. This is a knife I consider a knife you can take into the field, take on the job site. It's a knife that is not, it's not a knife you really care about. And I mean that in the best kind of way. This is a knife, and sometimes having a knife that you don't care about is the best part about it. It's a reliable, tough knife that you don't worry about getting dirty, scratching, or anything like that. This is a knife you bring into the field and you treat it like a tool, and that's the beauty of it. The ergos are just amazing, and I refer Griptilian's ergos a lot. You guys might hear this on my channel. Like I'll say, it's comfortable in the hand, but it's not a Griptilian. And when I say that, I mean that because look at the ergos on this. It's contoured, very neutral ergo, so even in the reverse grip it's comfortable, forward grip it's comfortable. Anybody can grab this and it's comfortable. So, you know, when you put it in your hand, you are getting so much leverage through a cut, and this blade shape in particular is perfect for me for work or EDC. The utility cuts are great. This does not have a dainty tip, so you're not going to have to worry about breaking the tip or anything like that. Now, it does have the chances when cutting straps of things going up and around it, but it still has the ability to for your hands, especially with the ergos, for you to kind of crank it towards you so you don't work, so it doesn't slip up and around the blade. The action and the lock is really strong. The lock is super strong, very strong locking mechanism, one of the strongest locking systems. The action is really good, easy to disengage, so it's fast. You can get it out, make your cut, get it back in the pocket, and you can toss it on the table, and you're not really worried about it. It's FRN, so you don't really worry about scratching or hurting it. S30V blade, now there are other options, and the mini Griptilian is just as awesome. It's a little tiny version of it, and again, the beauty of it is that you don't have to worry about it. It's something you don't have to think twice about grabbing. You know it's going to be a good, reliable knife. You're not going to have to worry about getting it dirty or scratching it. It's a tool, and that's the beauty of it. And if you do mess something up, Benchmade has one of the best warranties you can use. So, highly recommend the mini grip and the large Griptilian. And with that same argument, the Sig Sauer K320, another USA-made knife. This is done by Hogue, but all the exact same arguments I would use with this knife. It is a tool. It is something you're not going to worry about. It's something you can beat on, hand off to somebody, throw across the ground. I'm not telling you to throw your knives across the ground, but the point is when you're in the field or you're at work, sometimes the best knife you can have on the job is the knife that you can just toss on the table, pick back up, deploy it, use it, throw it back in the pocket. You don't have to worry about getting dirty. You don't have to worry about it not functioning or babying your knife. This is a knife you don't have to baby. It is something you can use hard, use strong, and it's only going to get better. And the scratches that you do occur, which these are very resilient to scratches, just the handle material alone. You might scratch the blade a little bit, but basically it only looks better with scratches. It's a great tool. They're pretty affordable. This is only like $130, S30V, FRN. It has the Able lock, which is, basically an access lock. Very, very strong, durable lock. 4-way reversible clip. And yeah, this is awesome. Now, next, we have the Kizer Deviant and the KANSEPT Convict. I'm going to talk about both of these at the same time. They're both done by Sheepdog. Now, the Convict is, especially the new version with the thumb studs, this is such a great knife. The same benefits I was talking about with the sheep's foot blade, the sheep's foot blade shape. Great utility cuts. It traps itself in materials. Great blade shape all the way around. And this is definitely an upgrade from the original one, which only had a disc on one side. Right here. I love this knife. Love it. Absolutely love it. This is an upgraded version. We have a sharpening choil that's really good and dual thumb studs. And it has an amazing detent. Fantastic access to the lock bar. Great action. But where the beauty is in these ergos. This melts in your hand. This is one of the most comfortable titanium frame lock knives I've ever felt. It fits my hand perfectly. It's so comfortable. And when you're cutting, again, the blade, you can kind of go like that, and it traps itself into the cuts so comfortably to pass this thing through materials, and the blade never slips out. It's like it does it for you. It's such a good cutter, such a good tool. Amazing, amazing tool. I can't recommend those enough. Same thing with the Deviant. Amazing detent, amazing thumb stud action, so smooth it almost feels like it's on Teflon washers because it's so glassy smooth. But the blade shape, such a good blade shape, such a good tool. The ergos are really, really good. Not as neutral, I don't think, as these or this one, but still amazing. You can get your middle finger right there, pointer finger, you know, right there. Fantastic push cuts. Back here, you're still very comfortable. Slice is really good. This is M390 steel. It comes in a couple different options. They do have a multi G10, so it's white and black. It's like a tuxedo version. This one's the copper version, which I do want to redo my copper. The patina, it was good right off the bat, but I didn't seal it, so I'm going to polish these off and reseal it with a new patina. Access to the lock bar is amazing. Just a fantastic knife all the way around as a work knife, as a tool. Next, the Kubi Ku321. What's beautiful about this knife? Well, the blade shape and ergos. This is a medium-sized knife. It's not a big knife. It's not a small knife. It's a medium-sized knife. Great detent. Kubi has got their detents down pat. Great reverse flicking action. Access to the lock bar is really good. But it's a simple knife. We have G10, steel liners, deep carry clip, D2 blade. Now, I'd love it to have different steel, but this blade shape almost acts kind of like a spear point or like a sheep's foot spear point combination. It has very little belly. So when you're slicing, you don't have the ability to slip out of cuts as much, and utility cuts are really strong. You have a powerful utility cut with this blade shape. All your leverage goes right down into that tip. You know, kind of like when we were talking about these knives, same thing. You have so much leverage down into that tip. But the ergos is the most neutral ergos ever. It's just a straightforward shape with contoured, not too tall, not too wide, fits in the hand perfectly. I can't imagine anybody grabbing this and this just not working really good in their hands, because you have this spot right up here. This is where I like to hold it, and it's super comfortable. Just an amazing feeling knife in the hand. Works great. Pinch grips are awesome, so if you're going to cut sideways, if you're going to do reverse cuts or, you know, pull cuts, same thing. It's just as comfortable in this direction. And since it doesn't have a big belly, you know, the straps aren't going to slip up and around the blade shape, which I love. I love blade shapes like that. This blade shape is fantastic for everything I do. So just the ergos mixed with the blade shape and the size is just an amazing, amazing little tool. Nothing extravagant about it, but dang it, is it a great little tool. Next, we're going a little pricey on this one. The Sebenza 21 or the Sebenza 31. Now, a lot of people know what's great about this, but I'm just going to go into it really quick. This is one of the best tools you can get as a knife. There's nothing beautiful about the action. No, in 2022, you know, we want the ball bearing, fall shutty action. We don't get that from this. But what you do get is a knife that locks up rock solid. The ergos are very neutral, no matter how you're holding them. Nice and comfortable in the hand. The blade shape is a beautiful, one of the most useful blade shapes you could possibly get. It's so versatile. The drop point blade. It's a jack of all trades blade shape. Sorry, I got a bunch of schmuck on my blade. So basically, you can do just about everything with this blade shape. It's very, very versatile. Great access to the lock bar. The best sharpening choil you can get on a knife. You can't even see the plunge grind, because the plunge grind is up and underneath the scales. So you have all of this life to sharpen away before you'll ever hit a plunge grind. This one's more fresh, so it's a little more stiff. And it has the original thumb stud, which I personally hate, because it's, you know, a sharp little cone. I don't know why they haven't dealt with that. I think this is a better thumb stud. I got it from Etsy. Mine is a lot more smooth. But the build, quality, fit, finish, durability, the stop pin size. Look at the size of that stop pin. Look at the size of that stop pin. Huge stop pin. Rock solid lockup. Look at that lockup. It's a tank. It's a little tank, and that's kind. I don't know about little, but it's a tank, and It's super tough, cuts really good. The geometry of the blade, this is a nice, tall, deep hollow grind. It actually gets thinner behind the edge before it gets thicker. So from the start of the edge to a little bit up the edge, it actually goes in and then back out. So that is a beautiful thing when we're talking about sharpening and using your knife. As a tool, you know, every time you sharpen your knife, it gets a little bit thicker. You lose a little bit of geometry. But with a deep hollow grind like this, the way it's done, it's just amazing that the thinness stays the same thickness or gets a little thinner partially up the blade. The spine is crowned. Now, I do think the spine can be uncomfortable when you're really bearing down, but you know, I don't think there's a knife out there that doesn't do that, so not that big of a deal, but it does have really good jimping on the spine. You can really lock in. This is just a great functioning tool. The clip works great. I've never heard anybody complain about a Sebenza clip. It's not deep carry, but it's one of the best clips in and out of the pocket. The profile of it in your pocket is very simple. You know, there's just, as a tool, it has almost everything you need in it as a tool. Now, where is the downfalls? Well, the action. The action, it's washer action. Now, I love washer action, but most people would complain in 2022, it's not on bearings, it's not fall shut. And I get it. You know, sometimes I would love to see one like that, but the point is the durability. It's so durable, and the ability for it to get dirty and keep kicking, and how it only gets better over time. This knife gets smoother and smoother and better over time. No, when you get it out of the box, yeah, it's a little stiff. That's why you use it. That's why you open and close it and cut with it and sharpen it and work with it, because it is a tool that just continues to get better. Rather than being perfect right out of the box, it just gets better through time, and it's a knife that will last you 20 years, if not longer, and you can always replace the blade in the future. So it is a long-lasting tool, and that's the beauty of it. It is a tool that's easy to maintain, and it will last you a very, very long time and still be a functioning tool over a long period of time. But that's the video, you guys. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.